So we're going to get to all that in due course, but the jobs number came out, and I'll tell you, I have never seen anything like this either. We now have 92 million Americans not working. We created the equivalent of 1,700 jobs per state in December. December, one of the highest employment months of the year. December's hiring traditionally is so good that the experts in the drive-by media were expecting 196,000 jobs to be created or begun, recorded in December, and the number came in at 74,000 jobs. 74,000 jobs, and half of these jobs are part-time, meaning under 30 hours. The media is scratching their heads over that. They can't figure that. You ever heard of Obamacare? Half of these 74,000 jobs, or almost half, it's statistically very close, are part-time jobs. The unemployment rate, with 92 million Americans not working, with 74,000 jobs created in December, that is the lowest number that I think in 3 years. It's bad. It is horrible. So 92 million Americans not working. Labor force participation rate continues to shrink. 92 million Americans not working. 74,000 jobs created versus the expectation of nearly 200,000 jobs that they thought would be created. Half the jobs are part-time. And are you ready? The unemployment rate fell to 6.7%. It simply isn't possible. You cannot have an unemployment rate of 6.7%. And the reason this is important, because that's the number the low information voter sees. That's the number the low information voter hears about. And that number is down from, 7.1%? So the unemployment rate that the government puts out, that one number makes it look like we have a gang-up job creation market that's just cranked up and going full speed. And the only reason that number is 6.7% is because the vast majority, the 92 million Americans not working, are not counted as unemployed. And do you know why? You do by now. Because a vast majority of them have been unemployed for so long, they've stopped looking. And if you're out of work and you stop looking for work, you are not counted as unemployed. The only way you end up being counted as unemployed is if you are unemployed but trying to find a job. But we are paying people so much not to work that 92 million Americans can survive with 3 meals a day and whatever else while not working. Stunning. George W. Bush had at his peak an unemployment rate of 4.7%, and that was a real 4.7%. That's statistically full employment. Because the conventional wisdom is that even in a full employment economy, you're still going to have people in flux moving in and out of jobs, and you're going to basically have between 4 and 5% of the population not working at any given time. So they statistically say it's full employment. So they're asking us to believe that we're just 2 percentage points away from full employment. It's an utter disaster what is happening in this economy. It's an utter disaster what's happening in the job market. It's a human tragedy what is happening in this country. And it's happening in the United States of America, and it's been happening for 5 years. And there is no end in sight. And let me put the cherry on top of this. As you will hear in the audio sound bites later on in the busy broadcast, noted Democrats like Chuck Schumer and others are actually very happy with the unemployment news today. Give you one guess as to why. It helps them secure new legislation for extended unemployment benefits. For the purposes of extending unemployment benefits, you're not going to hear Democrats talk about 6.7% unemployment. You're going to hear them talk about how disappointing the job creation market was. And they're going to find a way to blame it on Republicans and the sequester and the shutdown. You know how that goes. And they're going to say that the Republicans owe it to the people they're harming to extend unemployment benefits for at least 3 months. So once again, absolutely shockingly horrible news is welcomed, greeted with great fanfare and excitement by the Democrat Party. The unemployment rate, 6.7%, is the lowest since October 2000. That's before Obama was elected. The experts thought that it would hold steady at 7%. This is one of the biggest misdirections, the biggest head feints that I can recall. This number is meaningless. It's literally meaningless. The U6 number, which counts people no longer looking for work as unemployed, I think is now at 13%. And that is a much closer to reality number. All you need to do is ask yourself or anybody else, how in the world can 92 million able-bodied Americans be not working and unemployment is at 6.7%? And again, your average TMZ viewer, Entertainment Network viewer, your average viewer of the HBO show Girls will not know that 6.7% is ridiculous and irrelevant. They're going to just think, oh, wow, economy's really going great now. We're creating jobs left and right. 74,000 jobs created in the biggest month of the year. 92 million Americans totally out of the workforce. It's just, if I had any political power, elected political power, this would be the only thing I'd be talking about today, and how unacceptable this is. I wouldn't be talking about lane closures and this stuff, but Christie and all that's a perfect distraction from all of this. So it will continue to be discussed. More than half of the 74,000 jobs created were temporary. Part-time and temporary. That's just, and 20,000 fewer women held jobs in December. According to the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number of employed women 16 and over declined by 20,000 from November to December. The number of women employed dropped from 67,882,000 to 67,862,000 from November to December. Barack Obama, grab me audio soundbite number 21. Yesterday afternoon at the White House, during his announcement of the first 5 promise zones, President Obama.
We've got to make sure this recovery, which is real, leaves nobody behind. And that's going to be my focus throughout the year.
This is simply incompetence and irresponsibility and prevaricating, lying, whatever you want to call it, on parade. We got to make sure that this recovery, which is real, leaves nobody behind. And that's going to be my focus throughout the year. 92 million Americans not working, 74,000 jobs created when the experts expected 196,000 jobs. Half the jobs created are temporary. And while this burgeoning recovery is going on, we're not going to leave anybody behind. We have to extend unemployment benefits for yet another 3 months. Quick time out, my friends. We'll be back. We'll continue. We're loaded today. And I wasn't kidding. The Republican establishment class very upset at me for comparing the rhinos and their reluctance to defend Christie to a bunch of wildebeests.